Okay guys, welcome. I'm Marek and this is another episode of PhotoshopLightroomTV, your video podcast about anything Photoshop Lightroom photography related. Last week, we saw the release of the new CC applications. So we saw the release of Photoshop CC and Dreamweaver CC and so on. We also saw recently the release of Lightroom 5. So this week's episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV is going to be a Lightroom 5 episode. I'm going to show you two tutorials about two new features in Lightroom 5. Now there's lots of new features in Lightroom 5, there are lots of improvements and changes. So these will be just two of the Lightroom 5 new features. I wouldn't say the best new features because they're all different and it depends on what you're using Lightroom for. So let me start off with the totally new feature in Lightroom 5 called, let me see, well I'm going to do two. One will be on the upright feature in Lightroom 5. This is a totally new feature in Lightroom 5. And the other one will be with the improved spot healing brush or spot removal tool as it's called in Lightroom 5. So I'm not going to tell you which one will be first. You just see it by yourself. So let's jump into Lightroom 5. So here you go. I'm going to start with this image here. Maybe this one here. So I've got this image open. I'm going to go to Develop module, and I want to deal with some of the distortions in the image. Now this is obviously an image that was taken with very wide angle lens, even fisheye lens. If I just have a look on that in here. Yes, 16mm lens. Okay. So once you open the image, you go to Develop module, you scroll down to the lens corrections section, and in here, that's what we used to have, enable profile corrections. But now we've got a new tab here called Basic with the upright. Now here's how it works. First, I'm going to enable profile corrections, so Lightroom can deal with some distortions in the image. That's a really good job. But we can probably do even better, because now with the upright feature in Lightroom 5, you can deal with any issues on the horizontal and vertical levels, as well as the full, both horizontal and vertical. And there's an auto button here. So what I would usually try is use the auto first. So click the auto. Not too bad. It does look better. That's off. That's auto. So it does look better. That's good. Now let's try the level. Okay, auto is better. And vertical, because the image is leaning backwards a bit, looks good. And I could try all full as well. No, full doesn't look good. So I'm back to vertical. Okay. Now let me show you another example with another image. That will be more clear. I'll go back to Library module. I'm going to open this image here in Develop module. The image with some of my books on my shelf. So in the lens correction, now this definitely needs to go more upright because the books are leaning towards the back. So let's try auto. Auto does a really good job. Yes, obviously we'll have these wide edges because I didn't capture these parts of the books on the photograph. I know that normally if I just turn it off, in this case I would probably be just fine with just the vertical one. Level, no, not really. Maybe just a tad, but no, not really. So what I'm going to try is I'll try the auto first. Looks good. Now I'm going to try the vertical and see how the image changes. Ooh, looks even better with vertical. Oh yes, the books look straight in here. Okay. What about full? Nothing really. No, vertical is perfect in here. Now if you want to do more of the image, you can use the manual tab in here as well, and you can do some manual adjustments here. So for example, I could try to remove some further distortions here because it looks like these books are bending slightly. So I'm going to move this slider just a bit to the right until they straight. This looks better. Okay, and I'm going to scale it a bit as well, just to remove some of the whites, not everything, just some of them, maybe just a bit. Okay, and then finally I'll go to the crop tool. In this case, I will just crop it a bit, maybe here and here. It's keeping the aspect ratio because I've got the aspect ratio locked. Okay, but that's fine. I can always unlock it, and I can crop it to any width and height. This looks good, and I'll just crop that. And that's the upright now in Lightroom 5, the new upright feature. Oh, just one final thing about the upright is you can also remove the chromatic aberrations, and you can keep the crop. So you can crop the original size of the image by using constraint crop. And also remember that as you do in upright with the lens corrections, it's keeping all the metadata, it's caching all the information about everything you've done. So when you're done, if you want to apply it to the image, you've got this reanalyze button in here, which you can use. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on the upright feature in Lightroom 5. A total new feature in Lightroom 5. Really good, really nice. It makes a difference and so easy to use. You may be familiar with this feature already because it's in Photoshop CC as well, or Photoshop for Creative Cloud. So now you know what's going to be next. The spot removal, or spot healing tool, and some people call it, in Lightroom 5. But first, let me remind you, have a look on my blog for any news from Adobe, any tips, tricks, tutorials. Have a look at PhotoshopLightroomTV. I've slightly redesigned the website recently, so it's got a different background, it looks a bit different. It used to be really dark, so I thought I would give it a refurbishment. So have a look at my blog, PhotoshopLightroomTV. But now have a look at my blog later on. Don't do it now, because now let's have a look on spot removal in Photoshop in Lightroom 5. I'm going to work with one of these images. Let's see, maybe this one here. I'm going to open it in Develop module. And no, this is not a new tool. It's just got some new exciting new features. I'm going to change it back to basic. So that's the spot removal tool, or spot healing brush tool as well. And it's still got the same two options, clone and heal. Now what was used to happen in the past, let me just get rid of these guys here. So if I just zoom in a bit, what used to happen in the past is if you wanted to retouch an image. Now let's say I want to remove these bits from the image. You work with a circle, with circular brush. It's going to make it a bit smaller using the bracket keys on my keyboard. And what you do is you just click, okay, and it's sampling from somewhere. This looks good. Then you click again, and then you click again. You can reposition if you're not happy with the locations. Good. By the way, I'm using heal, so it's like a healing brush tool in Photoshop, so it's blending the content as well. If you want to see how you've done, you can just press H on the keyboard to hide it. Looks good. And then press H again to show it back. Okay. Well, let's say this is okay, so the close looks good. But here's what we got new now in Lightroom 5. If I select this spot removal tool again, I'm still on the heel. Now in Lightroom 5, we're going to get rid of that as well. What you can do, I'll just make my brush a bit smaller, is you can actually paint with it like in Photoshop. So I can do that, just brushing. Then we increase the mouse button, Photoshop will create the same kind of shape, outline on the image. This looks good. Let's press H. I can do the same here. I'll just click and start painting to remove that. Well, maybe I could sample from here. H. This looks not too bad. Or let's say if I want to remove this bit, here you go, just start painting, okay, and get rid of it. Now I'm on 200% view, let me just zoom out a bit. So this is great because now in Lightroom 5, for the first time, you can actually paint with any shape you want, not just a circular brush like we used to do in the past. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Lightroom 5 as well. That's it for this week. Just a reminder, remember Lightroom 5 is also available as a traditional perpetual license. So to get Lightroom 5 you don't have to subscribe to Creative Cloud. You can get Lightroom 5. You can buy an upgrade if you have Lightroom 4 or 3, or you can buy a normal full version of Lightroom 5. Just have a look on Adobe website, adobe.com. Go to, if you roll over products on the top of the page, just find Lightroom on the list, click on the Lightroom, and you'll see all the information. Lightroom is also available with Creative Cloud. So if you're a Creative Cloud member, you have access to Lightroom as well. Lightroom 5, obviously. And that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Marek Mularczyk from marekmularczyk.com. Have a look on my website for more details about my Adobe Certified training in Lightroom and Photoshop, marekmularczyk.com. Otherwise, I'm going to see you soon. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. This was Photoshop Lightroom TV. Bye bye for now.